Good afternoon. My name is Scott Rutledge, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. It is Tuesday, post-Labor Day. A lot of unknowns coming in. We had a weaker than expected jobs report on Friday, but they didn't sell down the market. You then had everyone saying how, first they were like, sell May and go away, and then August could be the worst month ever, and it wasn't, and now September to remember, and, everyone just keeps talking about how there's so many risks in being in the stock market versus, the opportunities that could be in front of you if you look for setups. And that's why I do a morning call and recap every day, because I try and show you the setups, ways to responsibly get into scenarios, individual stock plays, sector plays, with the plan so you can actually navigate these markets. And this is on an active basis if you're a professional trader. And I also try and give you guys a play-by-play or just a thesis on how to be in the market longer term, whether it's a 401k or a 529 or just responsibly, depending on your age. But the recap is for the action, and today, we came in not knowing exactly what to expect, except for we knew what last week's low in the S&P cash was, and we knew that a lot of high beta tech names that woke up last week could be on the move to get in there. If you go to the S&P cash first, you will see that, here is, this was the break above the 2-year range, okay, which never got retested. Here was the low of the summer, which got tested last week. Here was Friday's low that we held above while they tried to sell the market down around 10 o'clock. And now here is the upper end of the range. So we're a lot closer to the upper end of the range than we are the lower. And, recently buying high hasn't been good in the indices, and trying to short a breakdown hasn't been good. The best thing to do is actually just let these things navigate, watch for, a sell program to hit the S&P, and then see what hangs in there so you could jump on some good stocks. And what happened today is right around 10 o'clock, the sell program came in, the spiders went red, but on the desk, like, wow, Amazon didn't go down, Google didn't go down, Facebook looks good, Netflix is hanging in there. All the stocks on the go-to list of my regular All Access note that I write a plan for every single day. I even on Twitter on Friday, I said I'm starting a position in Google. It looks good. It perked up, kind of like Amazon the day before, and I think that it's a good focus. Okay, why is it a good focus? I'll give you a few reasons why. Boom. Here is your post-earnings gap. Your earnings gap came in there after a big move from the lower end of the range, so it needed time to digest. Okay, digested for what, almost a month, and then held support on Friday. To me, this was positive. It closed above the 8 and 21 day. That's why I bought it. And then you had another entry right here if you wanted it around 7.99. Then maybe you sold some strength. And now with a little bit of time, I do think this takes out the high of the year. And I've been talking about 840 to 870 at some point this year. Some people are saying 1,000. Could be. Why not? Right? You go to the size of this range, you have 675 to about 800. That's a big measured type move. You could almost say this is a little bit of a cup and handle type of thing. Here's your big cup. There's your handle. So a break and close above 813, and this is 780, about 120 points. That gets you north of 900. We shall see. At the same time, Amazon, which we chart all the time, finally had a clean break. So if some of these things are getting attention, they look all across the board, and finally at a nice wide range bar in Amazon if you were in it. Okay, we talked about the red dog reversal right here, and then the breaking of this little descending channel there. Every day, just watch my morning call. If you only get the express version, then sign up for the whole thing. Here is your red dog reversal right here. Here was your higher low. This is when I woke up above this descending channel, then rode the 8 day all the way up, and pow! What a big trade. Okay, Facebook finally took out the post-earnings high. Okay, got very, very tight over the course of the past week. If you remember with Facebook, we said, can it hold the 21-day moving average? And it did. Okay, and then it broke this small descending channel here with some force, and then held higher, and then boom, broke out above this. You didn't even have to be long today. You could have just bought the 128.33 pivot, which was the post-earnings high, and made yourself a dollar or so. Now, hopefully this wide range bar leads to a little bit of upside follow through, because that's what traders need. Day one, let's see that maybe they at least get a day 2, day 3. Obviously, one of the focuses of mine in the last month, which was awesome for the summer, was BABA. We had a buy at 81, a buy at 85. I went to Mexico. I bought calls for earnings. Earnings were great, and then it flagged, and then it cleared 95, and now all of a sudden you're at 104. Wow, how did that happen? Anyway, it happened because you look at the chart. so which always gives you ways to navigate. I know it was definitely a very frustrating stock when it was in here and we all thought it was ready and it broke out and failed. And then it was a frustrating stock right here when it looked like it was ready and failed. But you know what? What it was doing was building a huge base that finally, after enough time, was in enough tight hands where, remember this trade? That was a nice one at 81. And then you had a pre-earnings move above 85, and then we took options for earnings. Okay, and then we had to situate and say, okay, what's going to happen now after it needs to digest this big move? Well, you had this bull flag, and how do you enter a bull flag? Well, this was one entry. When it broke below 93.56 and came back above, that's when I bought the $97.50 calls for regular all access, and the VTF saw it, and then, boom. Here is when you could have added to your stock. I was in the stock from here to, I would say, about here, thinking it would rest. That's the beauty of options, because you don't really see them, so I held those and sold the 100s for $3. So that gives me 103, and then I sold the other half of the 105s for $2. So now all of a sudden the options I bought at $2 and for the 97s, I'm opening clear into 105, so I'll just sit and get paid to hold it because it's a little extended. But all in all, what great technical trading. Thank goodness. It's great when things work out. It doesn't happen all the time, but here, you go by one more time back to the bigger picture, and you'll see that there is some resistance, in my humble opinion, around 105. That's why I sold the 105s. So hopefully it rests a little bit right there, and then at some point it's going to take out the all-time highs. I can just see it. It's going to happen in just a matter of when, and I'll see the headlines. But for now, this was your big base, breakout 1, breakout 2, flag, boom. Study this. Study, because this pattern will repeat itself at some period of time, and you're going to want to be long it when it does. ACIA, had a nice move and then came off a little bit. I don't think it's a big deal. These things have been doing that. All in all, though, a nice move above this pivot, and it does seem like it's heading for historic highs. Here's when most guys got aggressive, when it held support here. Now, boom. Also, remember, we started charting it down there. TWLO came in long. I'm still long it. It came a little bit off the highs. I don't think that's the biggest deal. This, too, had a nice breakout after earnings. Gave you a little bit of resistance here, came in. There's a red dog reversal. What's a red dog reversal? Well, that's when it breaks below 51.26, coming back above it. That was buy number 1. And then a little choppy here, but still looks good. Okay, came off highs, but again, these things haven't been closing on the dead highs or dead lows, but I still think it looks good. PI is extended. Congratulations to you guys that caught that move. Wow. Just goes to show you have to start charting new issues when they come out. Some work out great, some don't. This one went above the post-IPO high after earnings, and look. Okay, LN, it's been frustrating, I know, but today I got back involved. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a buyer here just because I know at some point if it does try and take out this high, I don't know when, it might not, I'm going to be buying it. So let me just get back familiar with it a little bit smaller. It has a nice little gap to trade against. Okay, I'm not going to be so tight here, but I would think that this stock does not get back below 43 again if it's going to, continue to the upside. Some guys asked me about X. I bought a little X. I needed something different. Okay, stock was as high as 28. Here's a descending channel here. Hasn't broken above it yet. Maybe it's ready. A little bit of a rounding bottom for an oversold move. The metals had a nice bounce. Some people thought it could be cute and just short the metals because it was on day 3. I didn't touch the metals today. All in all, though, it definitely went probably further than people would have thought. This would have been a basic oversold bounce that could have got rejected. Instead, it powered through, and now we'll see what happens as it comes back to highs here. Same thing with the GDX. If you long it from the red dog reversal here, congratulations. You had a great trade. On this day, we bought the GDX Friday calls for 27 cents, sold the remainder of them on Friday for $1.30-ish, and if you stayed with it, good job. Big 3-day move. My 3-day move. Day 1 you buy, day 2 you add, day 3 you sell, and then cry if it goes day 4, day 5. At this point, we'll see what happens. But if someone said by the close, what do you do with the miners? I'm like, I think you got to be neutral because you had your buy. If you were still in it, congrats. I don't know if it's a short, but not something I would buy on the close for upside follow through after the move that it just had. So at this point, maybe it's retesting or trying to back test this broken trend line here. It's not quite there yet. So, here was your snapback move. Maybe it comes in, creates a little higher low, and then goes again or not. So we'll cross each one of those bridges when we get there. Twitter, I still think, is acting well. Apple has its big event tomorrow. We'll see where it is then. I'm in a call spread. You know, it's not very compelling, but we'll see if they try and sell it off tomorrow and they don't. I guess the trade was when they couldn't sell it down after the EU, okay, right here. And now we'll see if it could hold the moving averages, go sideways, and make an attempt to get back above this 110.50. This is when I was very excited about it. Okay, you know, was in the stock, was in the options, and then on this day of this little topping tail, I created the call spread, and now I'm just kind of watching it because it's not that compelling, and I'm just going to wait. I have the 108s, and I sold the 110s up here, and then I already got taken away on the 105, 108s from last week. So we'll see what happens on the next go around. All in all, you know, not the place to be. It's not where the full action is, but there are things to do from time to time. Last time I thought there was something to do was, you know, in this area on the gap up after earnings. But you still have a higher low, and we'll see what happens next. We'll see if they can't sell the event. Maybe, you know, it acts better. Oil was slow. I tried being long a few times. I just didn't stick around. All in all, this too is not the place to be, but it's good to know what oil is doing. A lot of jawboning now, and I guess as long as oil stays above this pivot here, you know, it won't be at least a headwind. Not really a tailwind yet, but we'll see what happens if it could reclaim these moving averages or not. And all in all, I got to jump. Hopefully, had a great first day. Lots of movement in the go-to list. Lots of stocks. I chart every single day. I post charts on my Twitter. You know, it's in my note. Hopefully, if you're a member of Red All Access. If you're not, go to the front of my page and sign up. I think you can even get a month for free if you just get off your and put your email in there. Have a great night.